It comes off when I remove the skin along with it, but the paint just doesn't seem to want to come off.
At least it's a light color.
Yeah, I mean, it shows that I'm not as white as I thought I was, doesn't it?
It shows that you're a hard worker.
With this white paint on me, I kind of look like Joe Habaika a little bit. Very tanned, right? No?
No.
Well,
Joe's a little darker.
A lot of darker. At least 2 shades.
yeah. Okay. But I don't know what is better, painting in a nice, hot, 88-degree day or out in the sun, or painting when it's like 50 and the wind is blowing, and every time you paint something, leaves end up sticking on what you just painted.
88 degrees in a historic steel pool. Can't feel like 88 degrees. Got to feel warmer than that.
Yeah, crazy. Stephen Wells is on the line. He is, of course, one of the Republican candidates running for the congressional seat currently being held by Congressman Richard Hanna, and he'll be a part of a 3-person debate. Wells, Tenney, and Phillips on Monday morning, beginning at 7 a.m. Highly anticipated. Stephen Wells, good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Great. Thanks for having me, Bill.
All right, so we're getting close. This is the heated time, and the commercials are running. You've got commercials. Everybody seems to be running commercials right now. And, how are you feeling right now up to this point?
Well, great. Everything's going fantastic. I don't know if you followed my tour that I've been doing in agriculture the past 2 weeks, and specifically focusing on regulations. We announced a release yesterday about what Congress needs to do about this.
Okay, and let's talk about it. What are the details?
Yeah, well, I mean, everywhere I've traveled, I've see examples of overregulation that is just killing and stifling business here in upstate New York. I mean, look, this isn't a surprise. Everybody, I think, knows this. But there is a recent study that came out by the Heritage Group that showed in the last, since 2009, it's cost the country over $108 billion per year in new regulation. So, look, I propose that the next Congress, for the entire 2 years, that we enact a moratorium on new regulation, and that we step back and take a look at all these regulations that have cost over this $100 billion, that we take a step back and actually look at these things and see if the cost is greater than the benefit, because that's what it seems to be. I
want to ask you your opinion on the latest Donald Trump antics. What's going on there? The message that he put out and has just been really doubling down on, although he does seem to be backing off a bit, on the Mexican judge, who's really an American judge born in Indiana. Your thoughts on that, and what do you think?
Look, I don't know. Like, I was a prosecutor down in Texas, and I appeared in front of all kinds of judges of different heritage. I don't know. I mean, I don't know of any specific bias. If you can't make allegations, I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah. Do you denounce what he says?
I don't. I want to talk about what I'm running on. I don't support. Again, if somebody has specific allegations, they need to be supported by facts. That's the thing. I don't support racial stereotyping. I don't think that's the way to go. So, I mean, if there's something specific there, an allegation that would lead. I know he's in a lawsuit. If there was something specific that they could point to that shows bias or an appearance of impropriety, then the judge should recuse himself. But short of that, just because somebody has a different heritage, I think is totally inappropriate.
And that would include, he also mentioned, used as an example, a Muslim judge. I'm assuming that would include religion.
Yeah, I'm saying the same thing.
Yeah,
I mean, look, it's, as Americans, we're of all different backgrounds and faces. If someone's made it to the bench, again, if there's an appearance of impropriety that can be pointed to, I mean, there's a system that we have for this, and judges themselves are supposed to recuse themselves if they think there's any bias. So,
all right.
It should play itself out.
All right, I want to also talk about it, and we might have touched on this just a little bit, and I did with George Phillips the other day, and that is a lot of the attacks that are coming out on, and some of them are PAC ads, and you have no control over those. Others are maybe some publications that you put out, some direct mail pieces. But I find it difficult to attach Assemblywoman Tenney to Cuomo. And I know it says that she voted to increase, taxes by, billions or $1 billion, whatever the exact amount is. But I would find it's hard for the average person here that knows Assemblywoman Tenney, it's kind of hard to be able to connect her to Cuomo. And how do you think that works? And do you think people are buying that?
I don't know what people buy or don't buy. The facts are the facts, and the particular issue, I think, is that there was a $1.9 billion tax increase that was voted upon, and included the Assemblywoman voted for it. And that's the facts. I mean, some rates went up, some rates went down, but overall, it was a tax increase and one of the largest in New York State history. And for myself, the stuff that we're putting out is about showing up for work. I mean, this has gone on for years. She doesn't show up for work. She can get on here and explain it, but this is a pattern. And in business, I don't get to not show up for work. My people don't show up for work. We're out of a job.
Yeah, I know this is going to, and I guess I'll stay with the attacks, tying her to voting for high taxes and tying her to Cuomo. Wouldn't you? I see it as almost the same type of thing when she attacks you on the Cuomo donation, the $10,000 donation. You've explained that and said that this was it was the business, and maybe it was your brother or a member of the business. But you said that that's really an unfair attack and it's not real. I kind of wonder if the same would be true about her being tied to Cuomo.
They're not even close to being related. First of all, she voted for that $1.9 billion tax increase. I'm not saying she supports the governor's agenda here lately. I've never said that.
Yeah.
She's any more than I am. I mean, this is trying. First of all, she's in Albany. She's been there for 12 years. She's had the opportunity for the last 6 years to vote. Okay, I'm not in Albany. I don't live in Albany. I don't lobby in Albany, as she claims. They're flat out fabrications. And so to tie the two together, Bill, is I'm
okay.
Sorry.
And then I want to ask you. Let's just pin down, which we'll probably have the opportunity to do on Monday. I don't know what the questions will be. I'm not going to be asking the questions on Monday. But one that I would like an answer to pin down is the not showing up for work, the number of votes missed. She has said it is tied to two issues: her son's graduation, and from I believe it was his military graduation, and also her mother's death. So let's pin that down. You challenge that and say the two are very different.
Well, they are. And look at the dates of the votes that were missed. In 2014, it was the third worst record in the Assembly. Okay, and in any event, look, she can get on the air and try to defend all of her votes, and you can go on if you can find it. Of course, New York State, the Assembly makes it extremely difficult to try to find their votes. They hide them quite well, but you can go and find the dates of the votes. Why don't you make a big list and put it up on a whiteboard there on Monday, and we'll list all the dates of the votes, and we'll see if they're procedural votes or if they're really legitimate major votes on issues that were missed. And the dates since she's been there. I mean, everybody's got a record.
Yeah.
Look, I've got a record of creating jobs, and she's got a record of being in Albany. Let's compare them.
I'm not sure we're going to do that, but I will tell you, for the record, you candidates are welcome to bring props. It began with Ross Perot, I think, and he was quite successful with those. So feel free. We have the Assemblywoman coming on next, and I really want to pin those down because we've been kind of going back and forth. And finally, so for the record, because the commercials still continue to hammer you on the issue of the $10,000 donation to Andrew Cuomo, explain that as well.
Well, look, again, it's a corporate donation as opposed to a personal donation. All my personal donations are available on the FEC Federal Election website. Okay, over 98% are to Republicans. The company, and I think our more than 1,000 of employees are quite satisfied with the fact that our company's made donations to both parties, but the vast majority of those, for the record, and they are publicly available, are also to Republicans. And of course, what she doesn't bring up is the fact that our company also donated to Cuomo's opponent, the Republican Rob Astorino, who ran against him. So we're on both sides of that issue. It's just totally blatantly false and fabrication and misleading the public and the voters that somehow that I'm this big Cuomo lover. It's a bunch of nonsense, Bill.
Okay, and then the final thing I'm gonna hit you with. I hate to be grilling you on these today, but it's what we have to do as we're getting closer. And that is the issue. You certainly mentioned that she is an Albany insider, and that is based on the fact that she's been involved in Albany politics for many years, and that is the truth. It is true. However, when you say you're not a political person, you have been tied to politics as a fundraiser. And explain your history with politics and tell us why that doesn't qualify you as an Albany insider or a political insider.
Well, first of all, I've never spent more than a night in a hotel room in Albany, so I have nothing to do with Albany. I don't go to Albany to lobby. I have utterly nothing to do with Albany, but I have been involved with the Republican Party in trying to help raise funds, and particularly for upstate members of Congress. So I co-chaired John Katko's Finance Committee. As you know, he's the representative out of the just to the west of you in the Syracuse area, and Elise Stefanik, who's the youngest woman ever elected to the Congress in the North Country seat. And so I've helped both of them raise money for their campaigns, and I'm proud of that. I'm very proud of the record of helping them raise money and win those seats. And that's it. I'm not elected. It's strictly volunteer.
Listen, we're looking really, really, really looking forward to Monday. It begins at 7 a.m. and the days are counting down. The 28th is just a couple of weeks away.
Great.
All
Thanks
right.
an awful lot, Bill.
Stephen Wells, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Coming up next, the other candidate, the second of three, is Assemblywoman Claudia Tenney. She is coming up next to respond on WIBX.